to the channel, everyone. My name is Sam Levine, and before we get into it today, do not forget to like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Stay up to date on all my podcasts on Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcast. Stay up to date on all the articles that I post at firstandgoalfootballtalk.com. And to keep track of everything that I do, post, broadcast, whatever it is, follow the Twitter, First and Goal FB. That is the Twitter handle. So without further ado, let's get it going. Let's jump right into it. Week 13 will kick off tomorrow as we had no Thursday night game because of COVID. The game of the week for me, Cleveland Browns versus Tennessee Titans. Two AFC teams, both 8-3. Both look to be in the playoffs. This is a crucial game for the Titans and the Browns. I don't want to say must win because, it isn't, but very, very important game for both these teams. Let's jump right in. Keys to the game for the Cleveland Browns. They have to possess the ball for the majority of the game. Do not let the Titans wear you down with Henry. You need to possess the ball, run down the clock with your great running backs, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Play a little bit of keep away from that offense. The second key I have, can't turn over the football. You cannot afford to give the Titans extra possessions. This kind of goes hand in hand with possess the ball. You can't let them wear you down. You can't let Henry get going. Give him more opportunities. You need to get your defense off the field because they're going to need all the energy and the stamina that they can get going up against the most punishing player in the NFL, in Derrick Henry, the running back. He's basically a linebacker, 6'3", 247. It's unfair what he can do to defenses. You need to keep possession and for the majority of the game. Keys for the Tennessee Titans. Get the passing game going with A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith. You need to hit passes. Ryan Tannehill needs to be on his game today. This team is so much better when the passing game is on. Derrick Henry is great, don't get me wrong. He's the best running back in the NFL right now, but they are so much better when they aren't one-dimensional and can possess the ball and get first downs, keep defenses on their toes, kind of guessing. It's almost impossible to stop that offense when Brown and Davis are really connecting with Tannehill. Look at last week. They scored 45 points against a top 3 defense, and Henry was great, but the passing game was hitting as well. A.J. Brown had a huge touchdown catch. They need to get those guys going. Second, stop the run. If you can stop the run for this Browns team, against this Browns team, then, you basically eliminate their offense because Nick Chubb has the best yards per carry this year. Really emerged. He was great last year, but he's really emerged as a top 5 running back in the NFL this year, really taking his game to that next level. He is the heart and soul of this Browns team and this Browns offense. If you can stop him, you take away the play action for Baker Mayfield, which he has been very good in this year. You take away just the threat of running back. You can go in and tee off on Baker Mayfield, and he's not an elite quarterback. He's not there from a mental standpoint. He probably will panic, throw some ill-advised throws. We've seen at times in his career he doesn't have the best sense of necessarily holding on to the ball and not throwing interceptions when the pressure is on. So you need to be able to stop the run if you're the Titans, and if you do, I see no reason why you shouldn't be winning this game. Key players. Now, Titans need to stop the run, but Nick Chubb needs to have a big day. Big-time player for the Browns. That's the most important player in this game. He needs to have a big day if the Browns want to win. Just flatline, that's what needs to happen. He's going to have to pound that defense into submission, much like Derrick Henry does every week for the Titans. He's going to be able to need to milk some clock and consistently get first downs for this Browns offense. Again, all ties back to possessing the ball for a long time. For the Titans, the main important player is Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback. If Tannehill has a big day, then I have no doubt in my mind the Titans will win as well. If Tannehill has a big day and the running game and the run defense can play well as well, then it's just a recipe for success. The Titans will win and win in a very good fashion. If he can play well and be able to complement Henry, it's all about complementing Henry. He needs to get those short passes, let Brown and Davis do the work. Complement Henry well enough and not turn over the football. I see no reason why this team won't win. And for both teams, they can't turn over the football because they both can wear you down as a defense with Chubb and Henry. So Tannehill going to need to have a very good, solid game. Be careful with the football. I am picking my game pick. I'm taking the Tennessee Titans over the Browns. I just think the Titans are a more complete team at this point in the season, and overall they're just better. And Derrick Henry is one of the most unstoppable players in the entire NFL, and I don't see why the Browns all of a sudden will be able to stop him. So Browns 27, Titans 34. Now, I want to talk about a team that I think has the team that has the most to prove to me this weekend, and that team would be the 6-5 Arizona Cardinals. They've kind of stumbled a little bit in recent weeks. They're on a 2-game skid, and they lost to a not a playoff team, Patriots squad last week, and they only scored 17 points. Okay, like I said, 2 losses in a row, and the other one was to the Seattle Seahawks, who they previously beat, and they only put up 21 points against the Seahawks as well, and the Seahawks defense is really bad. Hopkins, again, also hasn't been great, 106 yards in the last 2 weeks. It's all right, but not the caliber of play that we're used to seeing from him. If they want to be a playoff team, they're going to have to pick it up. But, they play the Los Angeles Rams this weekend, the 7-4 division rivals, Los Angeles Rams. So if they can win that game, that'll be huge, not only in the division, but to prove that they can really beat the top teams right now and break their losing streak, because they don't look like a playoff team, or they haven't in the last 2 weeks. They haven't played up to the standard that they were, earlier in the season. So they need to have a solid showing, and if they can beat this team, it'll be very telling on how good the Rams are and the Cardinals, because can't forget, the Rams also lost to division rival 49ers last week. So, again, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, they need to be hitting, going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's going to be a very important game for both these teams, but specifically the Arizona Cardinals. Now, just 5 things to keep an eye on this weekend. Things to watch, players to watch, units to watch. First off, Jared Goff didn't play very good against the 49ers last week. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, 10.1 quarterback rating. And the 49ers have a very good defense. So, you can expect not to have the best game against them. But, if Jared Goff wants to be a playoff quarterback, he's going to need to step up and show that he can lead his team over those very good defenses, and he didn't do that last week. He has another opportunity this week to play a playoff caliber team in the Cardinals, another division rival like we just talked about with the Cardinals. So if he can have another big game, again, much like for Kyler Murray, same thing for Jared Goff. If Goff can have a good showing and lead his team to victory, then it'll prove to a lot of people that this team is legit. He needs to be better this week. That is something to keep your eye on, because that's going to be one of the most interesting games this week, because Goff, Murray, and their 2 respective teams need to play very well, need to have big games this week. Next unit, the Steelers' offense. They did not look good against the Ravens on Wednesday. They only had 13 offensive points, because 6 of those 19 total points came off of a pick 6 from Joe Hayden. They need to be better. Okay, going up against the best passing defense this week in Washington, probably not the recipe for success, but again, they're 11-0, okay? They need to step up. They need to rise to the occasion. They need to play like the best team in the NFL. I don't think they're the best team in the NFL, but their record says they are, so they need to own that, and they need to step up. They need to rise to the occasion. And we haven't seen them. We didn't see them do that against the Ravens on Wednesday. We'll see if they can do it against the best passing defense in Washington on Sunday. Will it happen? I don't think so because I don't trust this offense, but you never know. Going in here, I think it would mean a lot if they were to go in here and Big Ben would throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That would mean a lot to a lot of people, and specifically me. Go a long way to proving themselves as the best team in the NFL. Next unit, the Colts defense. They let up 45 points to a very good Titans offense, okay? But, I mean, they're arguably the best defense in the NFL. And when you are that good of a defense, you really want to be not dictating what's to the offense what's going to happen, but because that's very hard to do. But you don't want to be letting up 45 points to division rivals. You want to be making statements on defense and showing that, okay, we're going to take control of this game. We're not going to let you score points. That didn't happen against the Titans. That is not how it played out. The Titans owned the Colts defense. And also, they let up 31 to a Packers team, even though the Colts won that game. So they still let up 30-plus points. Those are back-to-back weeks where they let up 30-plus points. They need to get back on track. And they're also playing a team that just came off of a 40-point performance in the Houston Texans. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because also that team looks like they're going to be a playoff team. It's going to be interesting to see if their defense can get back on track and not kind of fall off the edge of the earth, so to speak, here late in the season. Next, the Packers' run defense. The run defense is very bad for the Packers. Very, very bad. Last year, Jordan Howard ran all over the Packers for the Eagles in a win for the Eagles. Jordan Howard was just elevated today to the active roster. How many carries will he get? Probably not many, because Miles Sanders is a very good running back. But Miles Sanders is a very good running back, and the run defense for the Packers isn't very good. So you can expect Miles Sanders to have a big day, but how that will play out in terms of the actual game, I don't know, because last year the Packers were very, very good as well. It's not like they were worse last year than they are this year, right? They're still very, very good last year. And the Eagles, they were decent. They were right middle of the pack. Eagles a little bit worse than that this season. But, I mean, anything can happen. It's an NFL game. And we've seen all year the Achilles heel for the Packers has been the run defense. They played a not great Vikings team and lost to them because of Dalvin Cook. So you never know what's going to happen. Miles Sanders comes out, has a big day. You never know. Something to keep an eye on, because that run defense has been very, very bad this season. And number 5, we talked about him earlier, DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins has 55 and 51 receiving yards in the last 2 games. He will be followed by Jalen Ramsey all game in this game against the Rams. And this is the biggest game for the Cards so far this year. Divisional matchup, a vital win. And if they're going to want to win this game, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are going to have to get going. Like I said earlier, Hopkins is going to need to have a big game. He's going to need to come out against Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners in the league, and make a statement and say, okay, I'm going to go against you, and I'm going to beat you on every route that I run, and I'm going to help my team and push my team over the edge to get that big win. He needs to have one of those performances against this Rams team to really make a statement in that division and in that conference, because that is a very, very close conference right now. And those 5 through 7 wildcard spots could very well come down to Week 17. They need to make a statement win right here. Well, that will do it for Episode 7 of First and Goal on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Please share the channel with a friend if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing as well. Be sure to stay up to date on the First and Goal podcast. Get your wherever available, wherever you get your podcasts, such as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. Stay up to date on all the articles that I post on firstandgoalfootballtalk.com. And if you want to stay in the loop on everything that I post, broadcast, whatever it is, here at First and Goal, follow the Twitter, First and Goal FB. Thank you for joining me. I am Sam Levine, and we will see you next week on First and Goal.